Catherine Swift is here, and you're not going to hear her on too many news outlets. So please contribute, keep this one on the air, and I put the question to you. And before that, I have to tell you, yes, you are the head of the Canadian Manufacturers. What? I never get this name right.
I know, it's a long one. The Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers and Businesses of Canada.
So you're on the business side, and exports from Canada are down this summer. So what does the Prime Minister do? He gets Mr. Carney to join for an economic council. Now, I want to get this right. Carney, when asked, he said, Canada's Liberals have achieved real progress for all Canadians.
Well, clearly he's been out of the country.
Exports down?
He's been out of the country, clearly, for a very long time.
But I mean, really, for your membership and from yourself, you're an economist. What does this mean for Canada that Carney's here?
I'm not quite sure yet, to be honest with you, Stephen. I know Mark. I used to meet with him all the time when he was the Bank of Canada governor. I know him fairly well, actually. And I found him at the time, this is quite a while ago now, very cordial. He listened to things, he did. And he's a very smart guy. We all know he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
And frankly, I won't say humble, that would be a little overstatement, but nowhere near the elitist, fellow that he is today. And so I'm intrigued as to why he would want to do this. He's sitting on boards of all these Brookfield asset management, making bazillions of dollars, hooked in with all these global financial networks, the GFANs and the so on and so forth. Anyway,
the World Economic Council,
UN, World Economic Forum. There's just a massive number, and he's got to be making potfuls of money. So here he comes into this party that is absolutely in the tank, in the polls and intellectually. Actually, mind you, that's probably always been the case. And he seems to think he's going to be the savior. I don't get it. But mind you, he did sign on as a appointee, not as somebody that ran for politics, because he'd have to give up all those lucrative opportunities he's now connected with if he ran. He'd have to give them up.
Should he not give them up now? He's advising the government on the inside, the highest level.
It's still a conflict. Totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree.
And this is a guy. He's not a retail politician, as you say. He's a little bit more smooth.
No, he's not. But he can be quite a charming guy. So I wouldn't underestimate him.
I wouldn't put him in too many Saskatchewan church basements.
Well, no, he grew up in Alberta. Eh? A lot of people maybe don't realize that. But I think he's kind of like Chrystia Freeland. They use that as if they understand the West, but they don't at all. And don't forget, this is a guy who decries Canadian pipelines and certainly the oil and gas sector, but the companies he's on the board of invest billions in pipelines and oil and gas in other countries around the world. So tell me that isn't hypocrisy writ large.
Well, do you not think that he and Trudeau had a bit of discussion about this before?
They have to have been.
You would have.
They have to have been. And yet, I think the only way, in a realistic sense, he could do something useful is to reverse everything Trudeau's done, and he's not going to do that.
So, Catherine, I guess the bottom line is lunacy reigns again in Ottawa.
Pretty much, but that's not news.
3 minutes. Thank you. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.